All right, chat, let me now tell you something that I found out while doing some research yesterday that is both okay, but also it feels really is... Okay, so there is a lot of good laws in California, right? They're very open in general compared to a lot of other American states. I can tell you firsthand as a foreigner, they actually make your life as an immigrant not too bad. They have a lot of laws that really are not too bad when it comes to immigrants like myself, right? Now, one of those things is that a lot of states either do not flat out allow foreign driver's licenses, or they have an extremely limited time period for how long you can drive with your foreign driver's license, okay? Now, California is incredibly open about this and allows you to just drive, no questions asked, with your foreign driver's license, which is great, right? Drake's in the chat. Well, I looked this up before, but I was reading it up more yesterday because, we're in the process of getting a car. And I realized that there is a very specific wording in that listing of that law, which is, there's one little caveat about the foreign driver's license thing. It does not apply to Californian residents. And apparently, because I have a job in California, I count as a California resident now. So that means that I don't fall under the foreign license law. I fall under the local law that Americans have to follow, which is you can only drive your old license for up to 10 days after arriving. So instead of me being allowed to use my license for up to 1 year, I can only use it for 10 days. Now, this wouldn't be a big problem, right? Just go and get a Californian driver's license, right? Well, unlike if you got a driver's license in a different American state, you just go in and you get a Californian driver's license, right? Yeah, well, that's not the case for me. Because according to the United States, if I want to get a state driver's license, they see it as me having never had a license before, ever. Meaning that I have to go, do an eye test, do the written test, get a learner's permit, use my learner's permit for half a year, before I can then go ahead and do my actual drive-up test to get my license. So I am going back to having a learner's permit. So remember how I rushed to get my European driver's license in time before moving to America so I could make sure that I could drive a car after arriving here? Yeah, well, that plan fell apart. I now gotta get a learner's permit. Thankfully, there is a difference between someone getting a learner's permit under the age of 18 and above the age of 18, which I am very relieved by. Because I'm over the age of 18, I don't have a restriction on when I can drive. I don't have a restriction of how many passengers. The only restriction I have is that there needs to be someone else in the front seat that has a Californian driver's license and are over the age of 18. Meaning that because I only will go out and drive with Maisie, I am fine. Because as long as Maisie is always in the car with me in the front seat, I will be fine. So the only restriction in my life is that I can't drive. The only difference is that I actually can't drive alone. But I wasn't really going to be driving around alone anyways much in California. So basically, I guess the only difference now is I really just have to get Maisie coming along with me for doing everything in my life. I also did some online tests to see I did some online quizzes for the answers for the Californian driver's license. And another thing that pisses me off too is I took my license so recently and I overstudied for my license. I know all the rules. The issue is there are a ton of questions that I fail because there's a bunch of stupid ass questions that are LA or they're Californian or US specific that makes me once again have to study. Like, for example, it's like, you're coming up on this thing. How many feet away do you have to stop your vehicle? How many feet away do you have to blink? Stuff like that. I'm not gonna know that. I'm not gonna know how many feet away I need to stop a goddamn vehicle at. Because A, that's different everywhere. Second of all, it's feet. So, I'm gonna have to start actually, studying again. That is something that I've noticed that I think is super cute about America, and this is something that Maisie literally said when we were in Sweden, and I thought it was such a cute comment. This is something that as a European driver, I never knew. I remember when we were driving in Sweden, and Maisie did a U-turn, and I was like, you can't do a U-turn here. And she went, well, there was no sign telling me I couldn't. This is something I've noticed in America. In Sweden, you just have to remember and know when you can and can't do an action. In America, they have a sign telling you all the time. So if there is no sign telling you can't do something, most of the time you can just do it. I think it's really funny how they basically have to inform you, because I guess they don't trust that people would just follow it by heart. Because we just have like these random ass rules that you just have to memorize and know everywhere. Well, in America, it's just posted signs all everywhere telling you what you can and can't do. So you just read the signs and you're good. Personally, when I need to make a U-turn, I strap a jet engine underneath my car, so I fly up into the air and just do a U-turn in the air, and then I land on the other side of the street and keep driving, so I don't actually hold up any traffic. It's so much simpler. I don't know why more people don't. In the state that I live in the United States, if there's no sign telling you that a U-turn is permitted, you can't do the U-turn. I actually prefer that rule more. I actually prefer being told I can do it rather than I can do it everywhere except for where I've been told I can't. Because I feel like there's totally going to be places in the states where it's like you can do it everywhere except for where we tell you you can't. There's definitely going to be a random ass street where I wasn't allowed to, but there was no sign telling me to do it. Exactly, there is no sign telling me I can't strap jet and then just do my car. True. It's a cute puzzle. Sorry about the corner.
It's okay. It was fun. Okay, bye.
You can tell that Maisie's starting to get to know me because the second I made an irritated face and I just lost time because of distractions, she went, okay, bye, and walked out the room. I can improve my PB by so much that I don't feel like it's worth resetting because I've gotten so much better at the speedrun because of how much practice I put into mid-game and endgame. That doesn't make sense if I say that, like, I can PB by, like, 5 to 10 minutes, even with a bad early game. So that's why I'm continuing. If I couldn't PB, I wouldn't, but I can still PB by so much if I just get good RNG in the end and I play well. Also, I think it would be nice to go up against worse early game splits. I prefer early game time saves. It is a little bit sad, though, because I was hovering around, like, being a minute behind. So being more than a minute behind is going to be a little bit sad to look at. But it's all good. How's living in the US so far? It's good. I don't know how my body feels about it, but I'm happy overall. I feel like no matter what I do, I feel like eating good is almost impossible because I feel like everything when you look at it has like 1,000 ingredients you don't recognize. And buying healthy food is stupid expensive, so I'm definitely gonna be having a worse diet living here, but otherwise I'm enjoying it. I love the Dallas Cowboys because it's like the only two football teams that I know of by name is the Dallas Cowboys, and I think they're like something Rangers. What is it? The New York Rangers, California Rangers. I don't remember, something Rangers. Either way, that's like the only two football teams that I know because like I just thought the name was funny because, you know, the Dallas Cowboys is just a funny name. Rangers or baseball? Oh, whatever, dude. Okay. Hey. Wow, I'm saving like 2 minutes. That's insane. Actually, God Gamer. I don't think I'm beating this gold anytime soon. Wow. Well, we're ahead now. Alright. As long as we get a first try FF2, this is a good run. So for the best. That should work. Here we go, hold it. Got it. Whew. All right. Okay. Practice on that trick definitely paid off. Yeah, GDQ, I was so relieved I nailed that first try because it's such a bad trick to fail, and also the nerves I had while doing the trick at GDQ, I really did not think I was going to get it, and the TV had horrible input delay, so I kept being off my timings. Ooh, this is going to be super tight. I'm going to have to go for the side hop one. I'm pissed. Come on! I have never gotten destroyed by this enemy before in my life. This is actually ridiculous. Thank you. Oh my god. That was partially, like, it's like, that's a combination of both my fault and bad luck combined. I literally just lost like 2 minutes. I'm gonna be behind now. That's so unfortunate. I can still PB, but that's so unfortunate. No! I just saw an ant on my coffee cup. No! I guess they're not all completely dead, but they're fairly dead. Oh, they're tiny ants. I already had an exterminator here a week ago, and it's way less. Like, before it was, like, crazy. If I brought coffee or a drink into my room, literally, like, 2 dozen would appear, 3 dozen. Yesterday, I had drinks in my room all day. I didn't see a single one. This is the first one I've seen now, so it's less, but I still have one. That's sad. I didn't buy ant traps because the landlord instead wanted me to get a professional one, which I think is also better. I actually talked to the exterminator company and asked them about ant traps, and they said ant traps are both a blessing and bad, and people use it wrong. And this is what they told me, and I kind of believe it. They said ant traps are good in a way, where it will attract the ants, they will eat the poison, and then they will go back. However, they said that here's the thing about it. Because you only have ants, because you have a quite small amount of ants, and you only appear when you have a drink in your room, if you were to put an ant trapper in your room, you would actually attract more ants to come to your room. Does that make sense? So it's better to just put out a lot of poison that's stronger by them than bringing an ant trapper into my room. And he said, let's say you have like a trail of ants that are hanging out and constantly, for example, going to like a toilet, right? Then putting one next to the toilet, so instead of going around the toilet, they go to the trapper. That's a much better solution. But then he said, like, in your specific case, you would actually just be attracting more ants into your room, because that scent is just going to cause all of them to swarm in towards you. So you're actually just going to end up getting more than you currently have. Because I've only seen one, I'm just going to hope that it's a one-off case. If I see more of them, then I will look into it. Because he did say that it could take up to a week, and while the poison is working, it could still show up a few of them. So just seeing a singular one, I'm not going to freak out about it, but if I start seeing more of them, I'm going to be sad. So that means I'll have to call them again. I mean, here's also the thing. If I buy an ant trap, I pay for it. The exterminators is paid by the landlord, so I don't really mind getting professional help by having them come over. Because even if, yes, they're also slightly biased because they want to sell their product, that product is not being paid by me, but it's being paid by the landlord. So, I mean, hey, I'm okay with it. Yeah, our landlord is very nice. Yeah, I've had Whataburger. I think Whataburger is a lot better than In-N-Out. And I feel like I'm open to have an unbiased take because I'm literally Swedish, so I have no stake in the matter of West Coast versus Texas. Here. That hit. Here we go. Preach in the chat. Will we get a PB? Here we go. Let's see. Will we get a PB? Oof. Oh. Alright, here we go. Preach in the chat. Alright, if this works, we can still PB. Nope. Fun. Good game. Yay. Isn't Pumpkin and Skip fun, Chad? Yay, third try. Pog. So exciting. Let's go. Yay. Thanks, game. I like how third try is still a 10-minute time save compared to yesterday's run. Do you prefer Pumpkin and Skip or Dampe? I think prefer Dampe because Dampe is halfway through the run. This is like 5 minutes before the end of the run. Basically a cutscene and the fight for the last boss, so I prefer Dampe. Also, I think statistically speaking, Dampe actually does less damage to a run than Pumpkin and Skip on this version, because even if we're talking about a 10% chance versus a 1 in 3 chance, think about this, okay? I think a Dampe attempt takes 20 or 30 seconds, and also the first 4 attempts loses almost no time, because attempt 1 through 3 can be done when you're doing stuff around the graveyard, and the 4th attempt can be done when opening up the graveyard too, so you barely lose any time in the first 4 attempts. After attempt number 4, that's when you start losing the 20 to 30 seconds each attempt, and it's a 10%. While this, on the other hand, is about a 3-minute time loss per attempt, and it's a 1 in 3. So even if the odds are about 3 times as good, it takes like 6 times like as long. And like I said, you also get 4 attempts on that 10% before you really start to lose time on Dampe. We basically just had to force ourselves to not feed him, let him go walk away around hungry and mad until he finally had fine and he ate the dog food, and we just repeated that. Eventually he kind of accepted it, but yeah. Alright, anyways, GG. 242.34. Except for Pumpkin and Skip, that was clean. Not a bad run. Could have been like a 4-minute PB with good RNG. Not bad. I think without too much trouble, I should be able to get a low 230 or a sub 230 without too much work. I'm actually going to return to Breath of the Wild 100% very soon because the new route that was just made removes all material farming, all RNG. You get infinite equipment, so you don't have to continuously pick up a bunch of new weapons. And you also don't have to do any rupee farming anymore. So because of that, I think I'm definitely gonna go ahead and learn a new route. Yeah, actually, Chad, this is funny. People might not know this. With the new route, you're actually invincible because the new route actually gets 999 fairies. I am not over-exaggerating. You get 999 fairies in the new Breath of the Wild 100% route. So you basically can't die. You technically can if you go through all 999 fairies, but yeah, you actually do start in like, I think it's like 50 minutes into the run, you end up getting 999 fairies. So yeah, it's an absolutely bonkers route.